Hello there, it's Mac here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 DLC for GTA 5 and GTA Online. Now, I have done reviews of DLCs in the past. I have done a few in the past, and this is just going to be a review of the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 DLC that came out last week. Now, first off, I want to say that this DLC I was pretty hyped for. I mean, we got a screenshot a pretty long time before the DLC actually came out of the new Sterling GT and the Pistol 50 cal with the engravings, and that looked cool in the Rockstar Q&A. And then, about a week before the DLC came out, we got some information, and it was just kind of cool to see the information. And we're gonna get new supercar after 1 year after us getting a new supercar. We're gonna get a new sports classic, and we're gonna get a new PDW, the first SMG that has been added to the game. We're gonna get some new weapon engravings, and we're also gonna get hundreds of new clothing and all that. But whenever the DLC came out, the first thing that you kind of notice is that it's expensive. It is expensive. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know the exact price of the DLC, how much it will cost you, but I'm pretty sure it's about $19 to $20 million. Just think about that. If you buy everything in this DLC, that's about $20 million. That's including a $10 million jet. That's including a $5 million helicopter. Both of these, mind you, are not even new vehicles in the game. There's also going to be a $2 million supercar, almost $1 million sports classic, and even like the clothing and all that. It's expensive, and I didn't even have enough money to buy everything. I only had about maybe $2.5 million before the DLC came out, because I'm like, okay, this DLC, according to previous DLCs, I could probably buy the new supercar, and I could probably buy the Sterling GT maybe. And maybe some of the other things in the DLC with at least $2.5 million. I mean, I don't think that it would cost much more than that. All I bought day one was the Osiris, some of the weapon engravings, and some of the clothing options, and the new combat PDW. That's all I bought. I didn't have any money left to buy anything else, because I was not expecting a new supercar to cost $2 million, which is the price justified? Who knows? You could buy the regular Luxor, and what do you get with the deluxe? You get 2 less seats, so you can only hold 8 people, but you can smoke cigars, browse the internet, and drink champagne in it. Smoking cigars and drinking champagne, that doesn't have any effect on your character, doesn't really have any effect on the game, really. And in browsing the internet, you could do that on your phone in any vehicle. So, it was very expensive, but is the actual stuff added to the game worth it? What was the new combat PDW? Was it a good weapon? Was the new Osiris, is it worth $2 million? Is all the stuff worth the price? So I'm going to be talking about the vehicles first. So the vehicles in this update were decent. We only got 4 vehicles. So we got the Osiris, which is a new supercar. It's okay. In my opinion, it's not the best. I mean, it is pretty good around a track, but just from the looks and all that, to me, I kind of like the Entity and the Turismo a little more, and even the Cheetah, but it isn't bad. It's okay. In my opinion, it's a little better than the Zentorno. I don't really like the driving style of it. It's a little different than a few of the other cars in the game, but it's okay. It's not an awful vehicle. Now, is it worth $2 million? That's up to you. I mean, in my opinion, it's not. It's not worth $2 million. I think it would have been better at maybe 1.3 or $1.4 million. But overall, it's not awful. So next is the Sterling GT, which I love. This was one of my favorite vehicles in the DLC. I love it. I really do. And it is fast. It is a fast car for the sports classics. It's not going to compete with any of the other real supercars and all that. But for the sports classics, it is so fast. I think it's, if I'm correct, it's 6 seconds faster than any of the other sports classics, being the Z-Type, being the fastest under this. It is fast. Now, the customization, I think, could have been a bit better. I mean, the spare tire, the carbon hood, I don't really like to customize it, really, because the customization is just kind of, in my opinion, is a little ugly and makes the car look a little worse. You know, I kind of like to keep it a bit more classic, have a classic look of it. Also, both of the Osiris and the Sterling GT both have gold wing doors, which is a quite cool feature, but it does get kind of old after a while. So next is the Windsor, which I hate. I mean, the Windsor, I just hate the driving style of it. I just can't use it. It's okay for drifting, but other than that, I don't like it at all. And sure, the customization on it's kind of cool, although there is no customization other than the liveries. And the liveries are okay. They're not bad, really, but, I mean, they do kind of get a little old. Next is the Virgo, which, in my opinion, isn't anything really unique. It's just kind of like the Peyote mixed with the Emperor. I don't know. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to buy it. Next is the weapon. Now, the new weapon and the weapon finishes. Now, the new weapon, the Combat PDW, I was so hyped for. I mean, it's been almost 2 years, and we haven't gotten SMG added to the game. And I was kind of disappointed. Maybe I was a little too hyped for it. Maybe I was too optimistic about it. But the weapon, from a statistics standpoint, it's not great. Compared to the SMGs, it may be okay, but compared to all the other weapons, like the assault rifles, the carbine rifles, the special carbine, advanced rifle, the bullpup rifle, it's not great. It really isn't compared to all those weapons. And even some of the combat MGs and the MGs and all that, it's just not great. Now, the weapon itself is okay. The look of it is okay. I kind of like the look of it, and it is a fun weapon to use. I do really like the weapon itself. I do like the integrated silencer, but I don't really like a lot of the things about it. It also just feels kind of lazy. I mean, the iron sights feel kind of lazy. The weapon itself, like the reload animation, the reload animation on this weapon is the exact same as the SMG. I don't know why it's the exact same. I think that they could have at least done something a little different. Sure, the MPX is based off of the MP5. It just feels like a lot of the weapon was just lazy. And, I don't know, if you want to know more information on the weapon, I do have a GTA 5 gun guide on it. But also, we got the weapon finishes, which is something that wasn't on last gen, which kind of sucks. Although, even if they were on last gen, that they would probably look just ugly. But, the weapon finishes are okay. I personally kind of like them. I think some of them are okay, like the assault rifle one, the pistol 50 cal one, the heavy pistol one, and even the one for the sniper. I like all of those, and even the sawed-off shotgun. But I wish that they were on more weapons. They were only on a few weapons, and sure, you probably wouldn't want an engraven on like a firework launcher or something, but I would have liked them if you could put them like the MG or the Gusenberg Sweeper or something like that. I would have liked that. I think that would have been very fun. Now, the clothing isn't anything big, although it is okay. I think the clothing in general, it isn't huge, but the leather jackets, the bomber jackets, the stuff like that is kind of cool. I would have liked a bit more pants to go with the high-end clothing and all that, and maybe a bit more shoes and some hats and all that, but overall, it isn't bad. Now, we didn't get any masks, which I feel like the reason we didn't get any masks is because of the heist update, which added so many. And that's one of the problems with this DLC, is I feel like a lot of people don't like the DLC because it is not the heist update. We didn't get any new heist with it. We didn't get anything talking about the heist. And I feel like that's the problem. Because the DLC right before this was the heist DLC. But with the heist DLC, it was huge. We got so many vehicles, we got all this clothing, we got all this just heist, and it was fun. But I feel like people kind of got used to the heist DLC, and then now they're like, wait, that's it? That's only 4 vehicles, 1 weapon, and clothing? What? And I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't like it, is they got used to the heist update, and they're like, whoa man, this DLC's so cool, we got all this stuff, we got all these vehicles and all that. And then with this DLC, it just didn't feel great. You know, it didn't feel as good as the heist update, and that's because they didn't put enough time into this update compared to the heist update. And also, just the theme itself, I feel, is just kind of a little unoriginal. I mean, we've already gotten this kind of theme with other DLCs. I mean, look back at the High Life update. They both have similar themes with them, you know, both rich, high-end stuff, and all that. And I feel like kind of the High Life may have been a bit better. Maybe that's just because it was cheaper, or back in the day, and it was just cooler to have high-end apartments and all that. But just this DLC kind of just, it didn't feel memorable, and I don't know if it will be memorable. I think, you know, of course we're gonna have part 2, and I feel some of the things with this update could have been better if they only put it in one part. But of course, they want people to play the game, so they split it up in 2 parts. So who knows what will happen for part 2. So also, finally, I want to talk about the patch notes and all that. And the patch notes were kind of disappointing. I mean, some things were cool, but some things that they patched were just like the money bag glitch, or the glitch where you could, you know, put a bandana without the hat and the glasses, or even a glitch where you could go inside the police department. Sure, some of these aren't huge and they don't break the game that they're gone, but they would have been nice to not have been touched. I just don't know why it was patched. Now, I'm assuming that the reason why it was patched is it is a glitch. I feel like Rockstar, their stance on glitches is, even if it's a harmless glitch, even if it doesn't affect the game in a negative way, they're still going to patch it, because if they know about the glitch, they're going to patch it, which is a problem, in my opinion. Because I think some of the glitches, sure, money glitches, all that, and glitches where you could have like infinite ammo or something, sure, those do need to be patched. I think that if they have a negative effect on gameplay, if they have a negative effect on combat, then they need to be patched. But some of the glitches, they just, there's not really a big reason why they need to be patched, especially like back in the day, like the launch glitches and all those. Those were fun, and while they weren't huge, they were still something fun. The DLC, in general, isn't the best DLC, and if I were to rate it on best DLC, I wouldn't say it's the best DLC in the game. It is up there. It isn't awful. Don't think that I'm saying that it's awful. Kind of a little disappointing because it is so expensive, and it's kind of hard to enjoy everything unless you are, you know, super rich. So I wouldn't say that it was better than maybe the hipster update, or the business update, or the high life update, or all those updates that I really do like. But it could maybe well be in maybe my top 5, like maybe somewhere in my top 5 DLCs. But I'm very excited to see what part 2 has. So let me know your thoughts on this DLC in the comments. Do you like it? Do you not? And if you were to, you know, rate it, like, do you think that this is one of the best DLCs or one of the worst? Or, you know, let me know in the comments what you think about this DLC. So I hope you enjoy. Feedback is like Christian. I'll see you guys in the next video.